To the show that never ends.
We're
We're so glad you could attend. Let it ride, let it ride.
Let it ride. Let it ride. All right. Hey, Facebook, how are you? YouTube, how are you? Welcome to McHenry County BS today. Our good friend Stephanie Conley from Steph's Bookkeeping Service.
Oh boy, this week is going to be a good one.
It's going to be
We have
goodie.
a lot of BS to dive into.
That's it. Stephanie Conley, welcome to the show. Hi. Oh, you just joined over there.
Yeah,
Good.
I joined.
She's a joiner.
This is what's going to be great about this one is that it's not planned.
Not at
We
all.
don't have anything planned.
Nothing.
We're just going to ask questions.
What is a book and how do you keep it?
How do you stuff it?
How do you stuff it?
So we get, oh, you fixed the thing though.
You fixed it thing.
Like now it's not backwards. I can read it.
Yeah.
The writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just a hat right here.
We broke the code. We know how to do it.
It's fancy.
We are probably about 30, 40 seconds out from going live, everybody. So welcome aboard. Going to be we're giving away stuff today. This is exciting. So
This is going to be a good show.
this is going to be a great show.
Well, it's not going to be given away today. The announcement's going to be made, and then they have to tune in on Friday for the
The
actual
13th,
bookkeeper and
Friday the
participate.
13th. Right.
Yep.
Right.
But I think it's a good gift.
It's going to be fantastic. All right. Quiet on the set, everybody. We're 20 seconds out.
What do we do for these 20 seconds? Just sit here?
Quiet.
We got to
All
have
right. We're going live.
we gotta have something better than this.
Welcome to McHenry County BS, where we love the BS. I'm Kent Jones, along with Alex Kolkowski on 216 The Net and McHenry County BS, where it's all about the small businesses that make McHenry County thrive. McHenry County BS is brought to you through the financial support of Prime Media Consulting LLC. For more information about Prime Media Consulting LLC, visit www.primemediaconsulting.com or give them a call at 847-752-0018. Also, Wella Financial. For more information on Wella Financial, visit www.wellafinancial.com or call 855-I-AM-WELLA. And now, let's dive into the BS. Business Spotlight, that is. Hey, that's the new one, right? Been taking care of business every
That's
day.
exciting. Wella Financial.
Travis, our stagehand, we ran a little late with our previous appointment. Our stagehand didn't get that up, but
That's
we
all right.
dropped it on time. It was right on.
We dropped it hard.
We dropped it hard. Welcome to McHenry County BS, where we are full of BS. Today we have Stephanie Conley from Steph's Bookkeeping. Tell us, what is Steph's Bookkeeping?
We're a remote bookkeeping company, so we offer, I guess, bookkeeping services. So we help handle your accounts receivable, your accounts payable. We also offer job costing services for our construction clients. We do customized charts of accounts to fit your industry. We do QuickBooks training. We're a QuickBooks Pro advisor. We set up your QuickBooks. So we do quite a wide variety of services and options for businesses that are new and up and coming, or businesses that are already established and need some assistance.
Steph's Bookkeeping.
Now, part of the reason we had you on, because this is a very pivotal month for December, right? And of the year for business owners.
Right.
It's the end of the year. We're pretty much grabbing all of our sheets and getting it ready for our accountant or our bookkeeper or whatever. But most of us that are small business owners, they have it all in like a little shoebox, and they've just been storing it for years, and they have for the whole year, and they haven't touched anything, right? You probably see that all the time.
Yeah.
Tell me the reason why a small business that's sitting out there right now in McHenry County, who has been bootstrapping it on an Excel document of their business, just trying to track everything along, would want to use a bookkeeper and spend the money to use a bookkeeper?
Well, I think by getting your financials and everything in order on a monthly or weekly basis, it helps you as a business owner that's on the grow to make those decisions that need to be made. Like, do I buy a truck? Do I hire an employee? Do I do the next steps?
Yeah.
And then by also doing quarterly planning, you could figure out your income taxes, and what your tax bill is going to be on a quarterly basis to submit into the IRS. And so it keeps you in the know, and it keeps you it keeps you better educated, and it keeps you, able to make quicker decisions, I would say, because then you don't have surprises. Because I've seen a lot of situations over the years where people have like a $7,000 to $10,000 cleanup bill, and they also had a really good year, which is great.
Right.
But then they also have to pay that tax bill on top of that cleanup bill. And if they would have just maintained it on a monthly basis, they would have made that quarterly payment and maybe not bought a vehicle or hired an employee when they did. And they also, it's just a lot more cost effective to maintain things on a monthly basis.
So what you're basically telling me is that you don't want to be the guy that on December 1st goes to his account and be like, hey, I'm getting ready for tax season. What do I need? Right.
Mhm.
And they give you all the different, that you give them all the receipts and things like that. And then they're like, oh, you've made actually more than you thought, which is fantastic. But because you made $18,000 more, $20,000 more this year than you were expecting to, or that you planned on making, you're going to have to owe another $6,000. So do you have your check ready for the government for your $6,000?
Right.
And you're like, nope, I just based it off of what I kind of thought I was going to do. So what's nice about your services and why Steph's Bookkeeping is probably one of the biggest bookkeepers in McHenry County right now is because you are on your clients, and you're saying, and by that is, you know what's going on every quarter. You have those consultations with them. You say, hey, you're trending like you're doing really well this year. We might want to consider doing these type of things. Talk to your accountant about possibly adding this to your portfolio or taking this away, or maybe it's time to buy the car and not the December 31st. My account, what I do wrong all year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like right now for the next 2 weeks, we're pretty well booked up with meeting and consulting with our current clients' CPAs. So
Right.
a lot of their CPAs want to see the numbers
Right.
by or around December 15th. So this way they can confirm, yes, these are good, clean numbers, and we don't need to file an extension and pay that extra money. And then they could start preparing for, March or April, whenever they need to file.
Right. Because there's nothing worse than as a business owner to actually start doing well and not have it prepared to owe the tax man. And not knowing your numbers is something that a lot of small business owners struggle with, is that they may know how much money they make after they sell a widget or they sell a service, and they might know how much the revenue is, but they don't know the cost that came into it. They don't know the profitability on it. And by the way, what do you have to pay on taxes from that liability as well? So having a bookkeeper on staff has been pretty important for our business as well as all the ones that you represent, because you know what is going on every single month, and you know if they're kind of falling into a pit or if they're doing okay.
Right. Like I usually let all of our clients know when they're coming like on the onboarding process, which takes like about 2 to 3 months. I let them know that we're just going to become BFFs, and we're going to communicate on a daily or weekly basis. I have clients during the onboarding that they just text me or call me or email me just to double check stuff. And we're just always available to them to make sure that they're successful, because then that makes us successful in being able to do our job.
Yeah. And of course, the BFF stands for Bookkeeping Friends Forever.
That's right.
Good.
So, but the cool thing about this is no one that I know that owns a business loves talking to their accountant. No one loves talk. I mean, just in the sense of, there's a charge usually for it.
Yeah.
2, it's never a great conversation when the accountant has to get involved, right?
Always, yeah.
But the bookkeeper is somebody that has been instrumental in a lot of small businesses, because you have that conversation, and it's not as as I don't know if the right word is uptight about it. You don't have to worry about it. It's more you're in the day to day, so you don't have to have the puff the chest or the ego of I'm doing this or that. You know what's happening. The numbers are there. You have that constant communication with them, so you are able to have real conversations with them as opposed to I wish I had or pie in the sky ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like when we sit down with clients, CPAs, or when we sit down with auditors, even I've sat in on some audits with some clients, and I know from being in the industry as long as I have been that sometimes there's guided questions and they're looking for something specific, and sometimes the business owner either divulges too much or they make jokes and, and then things don't go so well.
Yeah,
So
I've been in that situation before. I'm not going to lie.
we like being that kind of buffer or support system for them so they don't get nervous. Because when their CPA starts asking about transactions or something like that, then they get nervous. They're like, oh my God, I did something wrong, or I coded this incorrectly, or I took this credit and I shouldn't, and what do I do? And then they panic and then they kind of react in a weird way. So it's nice that we could be on a group email and we could just step in and say, oh, we made this decision because, and this is the nature of their industry, and this is why it would benefit them in our professional opinion.
It's like Kent and I, whenever we get in trouble or with our wives, it's like we always try and make a joke out of it, right? To try and remove the tension in the room. Right. Can you imagine doing that in an IRS meeting with the people trying to make, hey,
I can't feel my legs.
I can't do it. You still owe $47,000, sir.
Oh, yeah. So what got you into bookkeeping? What is that backstory? Now, I don't think we've ever gone over this on this show because you've never been part of this show.
Right. This is the first time I've been on this specific show.
But I mean, we do some work on the outside and I'm sitting here and I'm like, God, I know the story, but I don't think the everybody out there listening, Janet might, but Mike may not.
I kind of fell into it by accident. I was one of my mom's co-workers, friends, dads needed some help in their office. I had done some office work before, so I was just going to go in there and help them kind of organize. And once I got in there and realized what was going on, they needed a lot more help. So I kind of self-taught myself on QuickBooks Desktop, really enjoyed the work. I was able to bounce a lot of ideas and things off of my grandfather, who was an accountant and owned his own firm. And then from there, I kind of finished up my degree and have been doing bookkeeping for the better part of 17 years now. I guess I'm the only one that likes it.
Yeah, right. And what's the biggest in that journey of doing this? What was your biggest trip up? What was your biggest, I don't want to say fail, but maybe learning point? What was the struggle? Yeah.
I guess at the beginning, I had some of those same fears that some new business owners have, where they're afraid to do something wrong or code something wrong, and then like there be repercussions. Mm-hmm. But as I kept doing it, and as I kept forming relationships with CPAs and developed good mentoring relationships with people that have been in the industry way longer than me, it helped boost my confidence to know that I guess I'm good at this, and I don't produce junk that then the CPAs have to spend extensive periods of time cleaning up at the end of the year for my clients.
So as a young person, because you're young,
23,
right? Yeah. Right. To me, but you've been doing this for quite some time. So how difficult was it to talk with those old business owners? Because I absolutely adore listening to you talk with business owners, because you talk to them financially, mm-hmm. and they sometimes are out there on the stratosphere in their dreams, and you have some really hard pointed direct conversations with business owners that are hard to have. But as a young person, I mean, how did you learn to have that type of a conversation?
I guess once you become confident in your abilities, and the fact that I also do continuing education every year, so I keep in the know of my industry, which helps me be able to have those conversations with those more seasoned business owners.
Say old crotchety guys or girls. That's all right.
I mean, it's just like, for example, when I got hired at the company when I was 18, the business owner had been in business since the 60s. He didn't want to hire me because I was 18 and a single mom. And he made that very clear that he didn't want that in his office. And after a month of working there, he came up and apologized and told me that he couldn't believe that I had that level of work ethic. I mean, I don't think I ever let anything roadblock me. If I don't know it, I don't have a problem with humbling myself and saying I don't know it, but I will find the answer and we will fix it and get the solution.
That's something that I genuinely like about Steph, is that we talked about it in Prime Power Partners this morning, which was, if you really want your goals, you have to become a doer. That's something you said earlier today. And she epitomizes doer. she is a hustler in regards to she will try and network. She's at all the different functions to meet you, to shake your hands, to kiss the babies, to do everything you're supposed to do, and she excels at it. And she's practiced her craft in regards to meeting people and really getting to know who they are.
Yeah.
Very, very well. And so you come as a small business owner to one of these functions. One, she's a great face to kind of learn and meet with and kind of point you in the right directions to meet other people for your business. But more importantly, you get to know Stephanie as somebody who knows her stuff,
Mhm.
and she can actually communicate it. Because how many accountants do we talk to that they just have a hard time talking?
Debit, credit.
Right. You can have real
Tax
conversations about your business and about finances,
Yeah.
and talk like it's an actual person and not just accountant ease that you have to kind of learn.
And helps you understand the decisions, as she said a little bit earlier. Hey, if you think you want to spend money on if you own a roofing company, you want to spend money on new ladders, is it the right time to spend money on new ladders?
Right.
And she understands that. That's why I say she speaks that financial piece, and it makes business owners go, oh yeah, okay, maybe I should go out and do 2 more jobs to have X more money to buy those ladders or whatever.
Right.
I mean, we like putting in budgets and stuff for our clients. So we take their numbers from the previous year and we don't just divide it all by 12, because in some industries you have better months in the summer because it's the nature of your industry. Some months you're better in the fall. And we like to take those actual real numbers and create real budgets and goals and expectations for our clients that are achievable, where they could feel excited and happy about the next month and feel, like,
That's
okay,
cool.
maybe I didn't do so good in this month, but let's make it up next month. And they could check that information as granularly as they want, even down to like a weekly basis, based upon how we put those reports in and show them how to run those reports.
And this show is geared towards small business owners who may be solopreneurs, maybe have a couple of different employees, and they're looking for some help. And we ask questions either directly to you or from the audience here on Facebook to really pick your brain and say, hey, maybe it's not a particular situation of theirs, but just in general. So if anyone on Facebook has any questions about bookkeeping questions or financial questions that Stephanie might be able to ask, please feel free to do that. But more importantly, if someone was to call you and try and reach out to you, what would be the best way to contact you?
They could call or text me on my cell, 847-942-3004. They could email me at steph@stephsbooks.com. Or they could fill out a contact form on our website on stephsbooks.com. They could reach us on Facebook.
At Steph's Books.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty, they could see my car and just, flag me down. I'm pretty accessible.
Are you the type of bookkeeper who goes through like Meyer as you're doing your groceries with a little calculator to make sure you stay on budget, or are you just like, nah, I like that, I like that?
You're saying how much of her business life goes into the personal?
Yeah, how much of your business life goes into your personal?
I don't
even balance my
because
checkbook. I don't know.
I don't.
If I have enough checks in the checkbook, I can write them.
I guess everything is just so second nature to me now. I just don't think about it. I mean, my husband makes fun of me sometimes because there's been times where we've been in other cities and I'm like, why are we going to buy it in this city when the sales tax is 3% higher?
Wow.
Like, why not just buy?
That's knowing your business right there.
So I guess I have little quirky things like that I do, but
what's something that you see, because you do a lot of networking, what's something that you see a lot of these business owners that watch this show make mistakes of when they're starting out, whether it's business, whether it's networking, just in general? What are some of the things that you observe?
I think some people don't put enough emphasis and time on their growth projections. And I feel like when some businesses have a really good idea or product, they don't spend the appropriate amount of time preparing for their next phases. So like if I hit, $50,000 in the first 6 months, I need to have a policy and procedure like handbook in place to then move to that next step and hire an employee. And when I sit down with newer business owners, I always try and stress those level of goals and expectations that are coming down the pipeline.
Right.
Because I've seen so many small businesses grow very rapidly, and then they don't want to say no to get caught up, and they say yes to everything, and then they get themselves into some financial pickles, and then their like customer service and stuff starts to struggle.
So you're saying every dollar may not be a good dollar to take, even though it's laying there right in front of you.
They need to know their limitations, and they need to be, if they get to a point where they're that level of busy, they need to take the A and B clients and not really take those C and D clients at that time.
Right. Because what we notice is that a lot of the times small business owners will say, just to take the dollar, yeah, we'll do it. We can do it. And they have no clue on how to do it. They're just going to figure it out because someone, by God, is finally going to pay them to do it. And that's something that bites you in the butt more than anything, is that those cash grabs, because I need the money, sometimes can be the worst clients you ever take. And so it's kind of cool. But more importantly, when it comes to a new business owner that's starting out, because you do a lot of networking through chambers and other different things, activities that you do. Mm-hmm. What's some advice that you can give to somebody to say, hey, here's kind of what I've seen in my failures along the way. Here's some advice I want to give you so you don't have the same pitfalls I have.
With pertaining to networking?
Just in general, growing your business and networking.
I guess there's been things that I've done personally in my own business where I've invested monies that maybe weren't going to have the best return on investment, because I was just so hungry and wanting to get clients in the door when we first opened, that they're looking back on it now, there may have been a more strategic plan I could have put in place.
Okay.
So now I could kind of relay that to people.
Mm-hmm.
I guess some people, when they go to open the business, they don't learn the whole back end either of the business, that you're good at what you do. Like a mechanic is good at being under the truck, and that's what they excel in. And they need to find that support system early on in their business to be able to keep them organized and keep the owners doing what they know and love.
Okay.
So I think like your support system is always really good for your business.
And how people can do that is they can connect with other business owners. They can kind of have one-on-ones with them and say, hey, what's working for you, to kind of go through the minefield of each individual person to say, and pull a little bit from each person. What's something that you think you do that really excels? Why do people love talking to Steph's books? We could tell you all day long why we like you, but why do you think people like you?
I think our customer service. I think that our testimonials online and stuff also adhere to that. A lot of people say that I'm very understanding. I'm not judgy of their situation. Most of the time I've been doing it for as long as I've seen it all. So there's nothing that's going to surprise me at this point.
Right.
So I just try and make everybody feel comfortable. I try and make everybody feel like I'm part of their team.
Right.
And so they feel like I have an actual real invested personal interest in their business, and that, so I feel like that kind of separates us.
You've seen it all. Do you know you can't use bodily functions in an interview?
I found that out today too.
Awkward. but more importantly, because you've seen it all, right? What are some of the things, without giving names, what are some of the fun things that you've seen happen in
fun
business?
Things?
Like, what the hell happened here?
Are
you able to divulge any of that?
I guess recently I did a cleanup project that I didn't know that some of those functionalities in QuickBooks were even possible.
Yeah.
I never seen anything like that before, where everything was kind of duplicated and put into weird holding accounts.
Okay.
And then from there, they didn't
reconcile it properly.
Well, they didn't pull them out of the holding accounts. So then they like duplicated and triplicated transactions. And I had to do a whole year's worth of stuff in order to get that all cleaned up. So that took, I think, the better part of 30 hours for me to go through all that.
Right, because just like everything, people think that you can do it yourself. They can DIY.
Well, it was another bookkeeping firm that did that for them.
Awesome.
Oh my God.
but for in general, like a small business owner, their ego is like, I got this. I can do this. I can handle the QuickBooks. It's a program. You buy it for $20. You just do it. Just like I do TurboTax for my business, right? But it's not the case. Like, you have to code things properly. You have to make sure things are done because it all filters into the financials. And if it's not coded correctly, it can really screw up your business stuff. And that's why more often than not, people call you because they did it themselves and they screwed it up, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you have to understand the differences between what's going to report on your profit and loss statement versus reporting on your balance sheet, and like how those numbers communicate to each other when things transition off the balance sheet onto the profit and loss statement as you're spending money or gaining receivables or anything that you're doing. And some people I've noticed have a struggle with understanding that. Why don't their liabilities report on their profit and loss? And I'm like, because you haven't paid it yet, and you still owe it, so it's different. So so getting people to understand that thing and not putting their expenses on their balance sheet is a big thing too.
Not putting their expenses on their balance sheet.
Yeah.
Oh.
They don't belong there.
Okay.
But so just seeing those kind of things, and even just the initial setup, like QuickBooks will give you, or any accounting platform will give you, a basic chart of accounts.
Right.
But since we have a strong construction background, it doesn't work the way that it's structured in order for those business owners to make those proper decisions.
Sure.
So we change the whole chart of accounts for those clients so they can get those real numbers to see what their gross profit is after we've taken out all their direct costs, like their labor and their trucks or their like things that it costs them to make that dollar.
So when should a business contact you? Like what is when you're starting your business, is that kind of like the first thing you do is you talk to your insurance agent, you talk to a lawyer, make sure you're doing everything legally, and then probably should have a bookkeeper on file to make sure you're doing it right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally it would be great if people contacted us before they open the doors so we can get everything set up.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case,
I've been doing things for 3 years. Here you go.
Oh, brand new business.
But yeah, I mean, that would be the ideal situation. But if they wanted to try and do it themselves, we have no problem helping them clean up or adjust or advise on anything. We do offer a free health check on your QuickBooks file. So
awesome.
I'll come out and take a look at your QuickBooks or your accounting platform.
Tell you to turn your head and cough.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll let you know.
Business, of course.
Of course, for the books. Of course.
So I'll go through everything and then I'll send you a report with my professional opinion on what you're doing good, what you're doing bad, where you could improve, if you'd like us to help with that,
Have you ever had a client where you went in to do that and you're just like, here's a good name of an attorney.
That's right. You're going to need this one in about 6 months.
Have you ever just gone in there and go, what? WTF? What the heck's going on?
This one's toxic.
I was not here. Right?
Hiroshima got bombed.
Yeah, right. Has there ever been one of those for you?
Yeah.
You don't say their name.
There's been some, like, I guess, red flags when I've gone to work with certain clients where I've had to give them the bad news that if they don't make certain changes in the near future, that the longevity of their company is not going to be there.
I mean, and that's a hard thing for business. I mean, that's their baby. This is it doesn't matter how ugly it is. It's still my baby. And I mean, you're coming in saying you got to pull the paddles out here, or we're going to be throwing dirt on this business in a matter of months.
Well, I've noticed it happens a lot when people hire their friends and family.
Oh, I hate
and
those
then
people.
That creates certain types of environments in the business.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to fire your cousin or
that's very tough
because then it makes it awkward at Thanksgiving. So that's where I always stress that you need to hire the right people for the right position within your company. And that's not necessarily always friends and family.
And what I like, and we talked about how Steph's a doer, right? She goes out and she says, here's the hole in my business plan. I want to make sure I cover that for the next year. And something that you're doing now, which is really cool, is that you're offering videos, tutorials and questions and answers on your Facebook page, right? And that's going to be something that's coming new.
And our website,
and you're going to be having more of a communication with clients than just telling them what to do when they call you.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we decided that it might be because, like, when I'm explaining something to people, I've seen it happen where they just kind of glaze over and they're
100%. Every time I talk to anybody about finances, like, I'm a zombie.
And they're like, when I'm saying certain words, they're like, I don't understand what she's talking about. So we decided to make these 3 to 5 minute videos of me doing live demos.
Yeah.
So you could see exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm talking you through the video and you could reference back to it. Cause we do send a lot of our clients like little cheat sheets, little videos of other companies doing these things. And I'm like, well, why not make it us or me doing these videos? Like, why am I going to send them somebody else's video?
So if someone wanted to just help with QuickBooks, do you do QuickBooks training as well?
Yeah, we'll train. We'll train
Good.
people on QuickBooks. We'll set up the QuickBooks. So,
So,
yeah, we'll do
so
everything.
someone's adamant of, I want to do it myself.
Mhm.
I don't want to pay whatever it is to hire anybody. Just I want to do it all because their ego's so big.
Mhm.
You'll go in there and be like, hey, here's what you need to do, and maybe you'll do another class or another class or another class if they still can't get it. So they have the opportunity to still do it themselves, but work with you kind of as a teacher.
Right. Yeah. So we'll do a couple training sessions and then they'll hire us on, I guess, like under a consulting basis.
Okay.
So if they run into any problems or hiccups or concerns, they could call me. For that type of service, we do it hourly, but for our monthly clients, we flat rate everything.
Okay.
So we've discovered and looked over a bunch of different options that by flat rating it, it creates more of a level of efficiency internally.
Right.
And it also causes people to not be afraid to call me because then you're not on a clock like you are with other professional services. So you could call me or email me versus you trying to figure it out because you are afraid to call me because then you don't want to pay an extra whatever $50 or $100 to have me walk you through something.
Right. So let's get to know Stephanie a little bit. So Stephanie, tell us a little bit about you and your background. Where do you live? Where are you from? What got you to McHenry?
Okay. Like I grew
After
up
I
in.
spent time at the.
I was in prison for 27
That's
years.
right.
They finally let me out. I grew up in Streamwood, and I went to Streamwood High School, and then shortly after I graduated, I had my older son when I was 16, and so I was a single mom for 7 years before I met my husband.
Yeah.
And after my grandfather passed, my grandma moved in with us. So we moved out of our house in Streamwood and moved to Huntley.
Yeah.
For 6 years or so. And then I bought my house in McHenry. And then I met my husband and we got married. And now we had another baby 4 years ago.
This kid is amazing. I was sitting with him at a chili cook-off a couple weeks ago, and this kid could talk your ear off. Like, no, he's going to be the next Prime Media salesman. I'm telling you, he knows. I was sitting down. I gave him my phone, and he was watching what I think it was a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or something, and he was on my phone, and like he knew everything. These kids,
it's good. 4 years old.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But like, what's cool about Steph and her family is that her family's part of the business. Like your husband is part of this business. And so it's really a family dynamic of we're here, we're local, we're gonna help you in the McHenry County area grow your business, and we're here with you. However, you're also remote. You can go in, like you can do business anywhere. It's not just in McHenry County, right?
Right.
You have clients in Wisconsin and Florida and California, all over the different place, and you're looking for more people that may not want the day-to-day accountant in the office or bookkeeper in the office, but know that they need those services, and you're a little bit more affordable than someone in their office in those areas as well, right?
Right. Yeah. And on average, with us being a remote provider, we're about 40 to 60% cheaper than having a full-time employee in your office, because you don't have to pay insurance on us, you don't have to pay work comp on us, you don't have to offer us benefits.
Right.
There's several other things.
Time off.
Yeah. I mean, and I work within my parameters of the scope of work that you guys that we get.
Right.
So that kind of helps the small businesses be able to afford, and it also doesn't force people to get the overhead of a brick and mortar.
Right.
I can go anywhere. I bring my laptop on vacation with me, and I sit in my hotel room and do some stuff. And
so you're just like me, because I was on vacation a few weeks ago, and my laptop goes with me wherever I go to. My business does not stop. So how do you handle the family dynamics of I got to work and my kids are at Disney World right now? Or how do you, or I'm at a, like, that's what happened to me. You called me when my kids were at a pool and I had to jump up and go. It's like, how often does that happen when you're trying to have a vacation? And what's the struggle as a business owner when you're trying to work family life and work life together?
It's kind of difficult since we're still growing.
Yeah.
So obviously my husband's going to be with me on the vacation, so the whole company is gone. Typically, if it's a non-emergency item, I will do it like in the late night after the kids have gone to bed. I
Right.
will sit up and do the work. If it's an emergency related item, then I just have to leave where we're at and handle the situation. Thankfully, I don't always need my laptop to do the stuff that I do. I could
Right.
do some of the things from my phone.
Right.
So that makes it good. I try and if we're on vacation, I try and tell clients to maybe text me more.
Right.
So this way I don't get the stink eye from
Yep.
other people I'm on vacation with.
Yep. I've been there because that's the struggle, right? Is that when you're a home-based business, remote, and you're a small business like most of us are in McHenry County, is you can't separate life and work. They're always intertwined. And it's incredibly hard because the people that are paying you, and that's kind of, you gotta kind of put them up a little bit, even when you're on vacation trying to spend time with the family.
Absolutely.
And that balance is truly like a trapeze.
And I think too that as a small business owner, you have to understand a vacation is I'm getting out of my surroundings right now. Okay.
Right.
Business doesn't stop because I'm on vacation.
Right.
Even if you're an employee for somebody, the business still goes on. Now, as an employee, you're sometimes, depending on your role, able to forget about life for a while. But
Ken's not. No.
Yeah.
No.
But owning my own business as well, and also being an employee, my family understands that. It's like, all right, if we're going to plan a time to do something, just like in my work day, if I'm planning an appointment, I'm not going to answer my phone during that appointment.
Yeah.
So even though we may be in Jamaica, during this time, I'm going to dedicate, but then there's going to be some time too that I need to get some work done.
We realized that in our family that I needed to have more time with my wife. That was just my wife.
Yeah.
And so we created a date day. So I have a date day with my wife, and it's still incredibly hard not to go 47 missed calls. Okay. Still having date day. Still having date day, honey. I love you. Oh, that's 51 now. Oh, great.
Yeah.
And 17 texts with a bunch of exclamation points. Oh boy.
Crickets. Yeah.
How's this date day, honey? Right? It's tough.
It is tough.
And so I totally get all the small business owners that struggle with the balancing act. And what's great about Steph is that she's been able to master this thing. She knows, because she's such a doer, she can just get stuff done no matter what the time of day is. She gets it done.
Yep.
And so again, how do people contact you again?
At 847-942-3004, or at Steph at stephsbooks.com, or on Facebook, Steph's Books. Everything Steph's Books.
There it is. Steph's Books. Now, starting at such a young age in the industry and doing what you're doing, somewhere along the line, someone gave you a piece of advice, don't look directly into the sun or something like that. Someone gave you a piece of advice you weren't actually asking or looking for, but they said something to you, and it's just, you kept it and you kind of run your business, and it helps you run your business. What is that somebody said to you?
Well, the CPA that bought my grandfather's firm, I had worked with him on a mutual client, and he told me that he wanted me to open up my own bookkeeping firm because I don't produce garbage in and garbage out, and it's easy for him to work with me.
No, well, we're backing up or something. I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. Something just happened. We're good. Everybody's fine.
Bueller. The thousands of people
are
like
coming through
is
my
that?
headphones. I was like, where is that coming from?
And, I don't know. I mean, and my parents and my husband, I mean, everybody in my family really is supportive of me and the direction that I want to go. So I have a very large cheerleading squad.
Yeah.
that really helps move me forward, since they know that typically once I put my mind to something that there's no changing it anyway. So it's better just to get on the crazy train and take the ride.
Well, I've been on that.
But there's a difference between a cheerleading squad and an accountability squad, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of our friends and family would never tell you you're doing something wrong. A lot of our friends and family would just kind of let you fail and be like, oh, we got you next time, or we'll support you next time, or you can do it. A lot of them won't actually call you on your BS.
Yeah.
And so, you might be fortunate to have some, but like, who in your life kind of is that rock to be like, I can go and sharpen my iron with?
Thank you.
I guess I mean, really, it's other small business owners that I've met in the community,
right.
because I feel like they can relate more to what I'm going through and what they're going through. So going to Prime Power Partners has been really great for me to bounce ideas off of all of those other business owners that have already been through it and been successful for many years, or are in the same position that I'm in, or there's people in the middle. It's difficult for me to take super constructive criticism from my friends and family,
Right.
because not all of them are business owners. And
their laundry list of mistakes too.
So they have a different level, like a different comfort zone.
Right.
Mhm.
And so while I appreciate the feedback, I don't feel like they've walked in those shoes. So it's hard to let them have me be accountable. So other small business owners I've met, I would trust them to hold me to be more.
So would you tell people that are watching this show that if you own a small business, you need to make sure that you are around other small business owners who are successful, not just the ones that are in business, because you could be around a lot of people that are in business, but around a lot of successful business owners who are doing well, and pick their brain constantly to figure out what's going on in their business and why they're successful. Because you can pick a lot of people's brains about why they failed or why they're not successful or what's going on that's sucking for them. But it's the opportunities to find around successful people that's really helped you grow your business.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I like talking. And you could always identify those people that are successful or on the brink of success, because they will have those real, honest, tough conversations that most people don't want to talk to other people about.
Right.
But since you're another business owner and you guys are kind of on the same playing field, so to have those tough financial things or tough employee questions or comments, like things that they've done, like you could really tell those people that are always like, oh, everything's great, my business is great, my family life is great, I have this great perfect balance. Like, that's not reality. Like, I don't know anybody that's really truly reality.
Smoke and mirrors.
So so if you could sit down and have an honest conversation with me about it, then yeah, I'll totally take your advice and information. But if you're telling me everything's super, then I don't know.
Super.
Yeah.
So when it comes to succubuses, so people just waste your time. You're a small business owner. Time is important. It's worth money. And yet, because you're in bookkeeping and every business has books, you get all of these, and I'm using air quotes, professionals who know your business better than you. And so they just want to, hey, let's have coffee at a 101, and they just are wasting your time. What do you do with those time suckers?
I say the F word.
You do.
I do.
When people want to sit down and sell me versus actually have a real sit down and get to know me
they're just wasting your time. They're picking your brain a little bit. They're just wasting your time.
Usually for some odd reason, whenever that happens, I get like a phone call that it's an emergency and I have to leave in the middle of the meeting. I don't know.
I had that on dates.
Like, I don't know why that happens.
I had so many moms that broke a hip. It was crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
My
grandmother died again.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Let me ask you this question. You're not the only bookkeeper in town.
Right.
So how do you handle competition? How do you differentiate yourself from competition?
That's a good question.
How do you make it so, when you go to mixers, you go to networking groups, they remember Stephanie versus the 15 other different accountants or bookkeepers that they might see at that same mixer or next week?
The feedback that I've gotten is I usually take something personal away from the conversation that I had with the person.
Right.
So something about their family, their work life, a pain point or something they have going on. Like I'll have a real conversation with people. And then when I see them again, maybe a week or a month later, I'll remember that and I'll ask them if there's something that like improved or if they had any other further questions. Like I talk to them like a real person and I really care about what's going on with them, and I'll remember and point that out. And a lot of people take a piece of that away where they,
so in essence,
believe what I'm saying.
What you're doing is whether it's in your head or you actually write it down, you kind of build a CRM system or customer relationship management system in your head about that person, whether they're a client, a paid client, a prospect, or just somebody that you met.
Mm-hmm.
And so you try and build a CRM on every single person that you can always reference back to kind of build that rapport, which is kind of needed in business. And not a lot of people actually do that. A lot of people go to networking events and they want to get the sale. They want to pass out as many business cards as possible. They feel like that action is success.
I've gotten something.
Right. And because I had 30 business cards when I walked out, now I have 12. That's a lot of opportunity when really it's not. Like it's just passing out stuff. So what you do that's incredibly successful is that you're building those 12, maybe you only pass out 8 business cards, but those 8 people you're going to know a little bit about everyone. So the next mixer you go to, now I know that Judy, her son's getting married in June. And so now I'm like, hey, how's the wedding plan going? What's that doing? It instantly connects back to a relationship that you're trying to build. And if business owners can do what Steph at Steph's Books does all the time, because we see it all the time, is that she knows who she's talking about, what's going on in their lives. People like her more because of that. People buy from who they know, they like, and they trust.
Absolutely.
And you build, and because you're building that mental or actual written down CRM about each person, you are going to have better success when you're going out to network. And so that's pretty awesome. And honestly, that's why you have seen such rapid growth. We've talked about that before, of how, year to year, this 2019 has been a phenomenal year for your business. And I equate the fact that you kind of unlocked the key of networking. And I think that's paid dividends for you like crazy.
And of course, being on 21.6
has
helped out. I mean, there's only 3 weeks left, but what a boost. So when it comes to Stephanie, and you saved me, you cleaned up my books, I've hired you. I'm so grateful. Are you a chocolate lady? Would you rather have tickets to a play? What is it that you were like?
Bonus.
Yeah. What is it that you were just like, wow, no, you didn't have to, but that's awesome.
What's your love language?
What's your love language?
Bourbon.
Like it.
Love that. Scotch. Yeah, no. Bourbon. There you go, folks. Wonderful. Excellent.
Nothing says thank you to your bookkeeper like a big bottle of bourbon.
If I'd have known that, my son had bought a bunch, so I've got 2 bottles of pretty good bourbon from the Kentucky area, and so if I would have known that, I'd have brought it. Well, that would have been good.
Would have been better if you networked with her and got.
I did a little one-on-one, wasted her time. The amazing thing is that you offer a service that every business, bar none, even bookkeepers need bookkeeping.
Yep.
You offer a service that every business needs.
Right. Not everyone needs an accountant.
Not everybody needs an accountant,
but everyone should have a bookkeeper.
Yeah, because they all have books.
Right.
If there's money going in and out, you need what you do, and yet it seems to me, I always think, Steph's bookkeeping. I think of, the green lamp and, the green visor and the adding machine over here, like the 1930s.
Like cigarettes.
Right. And it's kind of, to your point, now there's QuickBooks, and all I got to do is put this, download it, and I know what I'm doing.
Technology has kind of been a crutch, right?
Yeah.
Is that before it was, man, I wish I could just get things done faster and simpler and easier. And now we rely on the faster and simpler and easier, but we don't really spend the time to understand how the faster, simpler, easier works. We just know we have the system here and we have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
What's great about you is you've kind of mastered everything. You know how to do it on paper. You know how to do it through QuickBooks. So if one thing's not working, you can make sure it works. Plus, you're QuickBooks certified anyway, so you're like an uber professional at this thing, where you can really go in and be like, hey, if you would have done this, this, and this right, your whole balance sheet would have been better. Your whole financial statement, your charter of accounts, as you said, would be better. And that's what's cool about Steph's Books, is that it's not just about becoming a bookkeeping client. you can actually just call you and be like, hey, can you help me with something? And Steph's going to figure out a way that it'd be mutually beneficial for you to help them just get back on track.
Right. I mean, like if someone has problems with their receipts and they have employees in various states, we help set them up with Expensify, which integrates back into their QuickBooks. And, if they need to start scheduling, we use like Notify for some clients. We have time tracking stuff. Like we do a lot of research just beyond QuickBooks to make your day and life so much easier.
Would it be safe to say that you kind of become their like a de facto chief financial officer or an operations officer to help them out with kind of streamlining the back end of things?
I mean, I would say that that some of our services fall into operations because we help put processes in place for them. Like we've helped clients do inventory management systems and
Right.
and things of that sort. I know that it's not bookkeeping related, but some of the stuff that we help set them up with makes my job super much easier at the end of the year or
Right.
at the end of the quarter. So I'm helping them help me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from working in offices for as many years as I have and in as many industries as I have, I don't mind sharing any and all knowledge that I have with my clients or associates.
So tell us again real quick how people can get in contact with Steph's Books.
They could call or text me at 847-942-3004. Email me at steph@stephsbooks.com. Go on our website and fill out our contact page at stephsbooks.com. Go on Facebook, Steph's Books.
Okay. Because I mean, I see you everywhere on Facebook. When someone says, "I need a bookkeeper, I need an accountant," you are like the person that they recommend in this area.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what's kind of cool is that
huge.
You have really ingrained yourself and your business in this McHenry County community to really be the go-to person for anything that's kind of bookkeeping or financial related.
It's cool.
As at least the first call. Because you have relationships with a lot of accountants and things like that, where you can find the right fit. If there's something that you can't even provide, where you can maybe have to partner with somebody else to help them figure it out.
Yeah, I have a lot of good relationships with CPAs, some financial advisors or planners, people that could help set up, like SEP accounts and things like that for the clients. So we kind of can do like an all-encompassing like office for people.
Back office.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that we talked a little bit earlier that in 2020, you're going to start attacking some marketing a little bit different. You're going to become the corner yourself as the guru and the professional in the area by putting out content. And of course, the second Friday of each month, you're going to do a show here on 21.6 the net that will be Ask a Bookkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And just a quick half-hour show where you're going to give some tips and training and some different things, cover some different topics.
I love when Steph does tips.
Steph's tips
are amazing.
They are. And whether
she always has a perky face when she does it,
and they're to the point, which is nice. And the interesting thing is, you have an announcement that you wanted to talk about today that will go. You're going to do something on your show on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, in efforts to encourage small business owners or businesses that are either like 1 year in business or just opening for 2020 that have either managed their portfolio on a spreadsheet and they want to get into more of an accounting platform. We're going to raffle off on Friday the 13th a 1 year free subscription to QuickBooks Plus.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's huge.
That is huge.
We will provide the subscription, and if you'd like us to set it up, we could set it up for you. If you'd like us to do training, we could do training. But it would have to be somebody that does not currently have QuickBooks.
So on Ask a Bookkeeper on Friday the 13th, the show's
right here
going to be
21.6
the show's going to be at 3:30.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is right here 21.6 the net. You are giving away a 1 year subscription to QuickBooks Pro. To the QuickBooks, whatever it is,
the QuickBooks Online Plus. Yeah. So so they'll be able to do all of their bookkeeping stuff. Plus, it also has projects that they could turn on if they're a construction.
But more importantly, when someone wants to tune in to Ask a Bookkeeper, what are you hoping they do?
I'm hoping that people will ask questions that are pain points, because the whole goal of this is that I get asked questions by 20 something people on a monthly basis, and it's the same questions.
Yeah.
So the same problem or pain point that you might have is probably the same problem or pain point somebody else has.
Right.
So I'm hoping that people will kind of ask questions and chime in, or maybe have an issue with their, I don't know, with their QuickBooks, it's not doing something, and I
Right.
could answer it live, and they could test it out, and
Right.
then hopefully provide a testimonial that what I said worked. And moving forward, they're able to do that. We're hoping next year to bring some of my clients on, so
That's
they
awesome.
could kind of talk about our processes that we do within Steph's Books,
That's awesome.
and what has it done for their business and how it's affected them.
And what's cool is that you've really kind of turned the corner for your business in regards to being more interactive with your clients and with prospects. And you said you're building a new website. You're doing Ask a Bookkeeper now with your tips, and you're helping everyone. You're asking the audience to come ask you questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you're going to do is that you have a chat feature on your website where they can actually ask you right there and too. If they don't feel like, some people don't like to call, right? They just want to know something right away, just something quick, like a text message.
Mm-hmm.
So they can either text you with the phone number that you provided, or they can chat with you right on your website.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They could click on the little paperclip guy, and they'll get
whatever
me.
that thing is down in the corner.
So yeah, anytime you call the Steph's Books, you will 99% of the time you will get me, and you will be talking to me.
Right.
So it's not an answering service. It's not a secretary. It's not, anyway, you will talk to me, the actual bookkeeper, and the owner.
Right.
Thank you for calling Steph's Books.
And
Who needs a cookie martin?
as we expand and hire staff, we always let all of our current clients know that, because we're looking to hire somebody probably in 2020, that they still have full access to me. It's not like I just disappear into the shadows and go behind the curtain. Our CRM software that we use gives me the ability to track their progress of their work.
Awesome.
I see all the email communications that my staff would have with my clients. And so it's not like they lose me as that security blanket.
Yeah. So really, for the business owner, a lot of times it's the financial stress that keeps you up at night.
Yep.
It's the oh my gosh.
I gotta pay this much in taxes. I didn't plan on that.
Yeah, and nobody told me that. So really, you help people sleep easy at night because you kind of take care of their books and make sure that they understand that everything is fine, or you're a SOL. So you really help the small business owners. And I'm telling you, small business, I'm looking right directly in the camera here. Small business owners understand that the price that you pay Steph's Books to take care of your bookkeeping is a lot less expensive than all the mistakes you're going to make.
It's worth the price of admission.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the stress and the this and the that. I mean,
our packages start at $99 a month for just a peace of mind package for us to come in once a month, look over what you did if you're a do-it-yourselfer, and then complete the reconciliation. That's like some people's Starbucks bill for the month.
Yeah, truly.
We try not to bring on this show people that are sucking in business.
Yeah, I try not to.
Right. We try to bring people on this show that are actually movers and shakers, and people that are really growing their business, because what do people that watch this show want to learn from? People that are actually growing their own business. And Steph's Books has leaps and bounds I think you were talking to me before, like 200% year over year, pretty much. You're growing like crazy, and it's just getting bigger. This snowball is going. And if you really want to find out why she's doing so well, reach out to her. Ask people in the community that are pillars in this business, in the community, of if they know Steph, and every single one of them is going to say she is phenomenal at what she does. And I highly recommend you giving Steph's Bookkeeping a call just to give the health check of, is this something that I'm going to, am I doing it right? because that's the biggest fear, right? It's the fear of missing out, a fear of doing it wrong. And you're somebody that can really make sure, hey, you got things okay, you're doing fine. Or hey, you might need to consider doing something a little bit different here. It's not working as well as you think it might be.
Right.
And so before we close out, can you please let us know real quick how to reach you one more time?
Call or text at 847-942-3004. Email me at steph@stephsbooks.com. Go on my website. You could chat with me at stephsbooks.com. Go on Facebook. You can send me a message on Steph's Books. I guess you could find me at the
Reach
radio
out.
station.
That's it. Tell you what, folks, that has been McHenry County BS for this week. Of course, brought to you through the financial help of Wella Financial. Give them a call, 855-I-AM-WELLA, or check them out at www.wellafinancial.com, of course. And let's not forget Prime Media Consulting, LLC, primemediaconsulting.com, or 847-752-0018. For Alex Kolkowski, I'm Kent Jones. This has been this edition of McHenry County BS.
Taking care of business every day. Taking care of business.
Now it's behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. Let's talk about
I can't. Yeah.
who really screwed up. I mean, no one's watching, right? We're done with this, right? Tell me the names.
That's right.
Of people
Who
that
was that?
really. It was Phil, wasn't it?
DDOE. What? Yeah. What? Who?
This was good. I'm happy with it.